What's going on, guys? We are working on another round of upgrades for the LJ today. Now, since bringing this back into the shop after about a 2-year break, we've put in a new intake, new injectors, a new alternator, a new torque converter, new fender flares, and we are finally working on more fun projects today. Now, this should be the last round of upgrades I need to do before I take this thing out on the trails very soon, because summer is right around the corner. So I've got a new set of Raceline beadlocks for this thing. Now, I've done a ton of tire changes and beadlock changes with Ben over the years, but this is finally the first set that I'll be having for my own rig. So I'm really excited about these. I've got a new to me set of 37 Nitto Trail Grapplers. They are slightly used, but they will definitely do the trick. We're also going to be throwing in some of the Apex rapid precision valves. Now, I've already made a video on these, but we'll go over the benefits of these later. And last but not least, I've got a new cable shift linkage. This is going to make it just a little bit easier to throw this thing in 4-wheel drive, which I will be doing just in a couple of days. So I've got a lot of work to do, a lot of fun stuff going on today, so let's get started. Now, does everybody need beadlocks, and are they always a good idea? No, but we'll dive into that in a little bit, because first things first is I want to get one of these mounted so I can see what they look like on the Jeep. Jeep now, you know?
That looks good.
It does. They almost look too nice. I really like how this machined aluminum looks on the Jeep. It really brightens it up. It doesn't look as like a grungy buggy anymore. But so these are the Ryno Rts. They come in aluminum, the bronze, and black. Now, originally I was thinking about going bronze, but the lead time was too long, so I went with these. And then when they came in, I was thinking about painting them steel and gray. And I might do that one day, but right now, I think I'm really liking this look. It makes it look a lot brighter.
I think the aluminum looks good. It kind of livens up the Jeep a little bit.
And then once I do a paint job on this thing, I think it'll look like almost like a brand new-ish LJ. It'll look really good. Now, the only difference between my old wheels and these Racelines are that there's 1 inch less of back spacing, which means they stick out 1 more inch further on each side. So just real quick, like on the old wheels, if you wanted to measure your back spacing, it's real easy. You just measure from the mounting surface up to where the lip of the wheel is, and these are at 4.5. Like I said, the Racelines are 3.5, so that extra inch is gonna add to the stability of the ride, but it also does add a little bit more stress to the components of the axle. But I've done the JK axle swap, we've done the ball joint deletes. I think I'm gonna be fine. I could probably run 40s, or I know I could run 40s and be fine on this setup. Now, I wanna take a look at the Apex valves before I mount the next tire, because there are a lot of benefits to them, and it's starting to rain, so let's get over there and take a look at them. These Apex valves are about 120 bucks for a set of 4. I love these things. I've ran them before, which is why I'm running them again on the new beadlocks. So real quick, all you have to do is take the top off or your cap, and then where it says pull on this red tab, when you want to deflate your tire, you pull it and air comes out of all 4 of these holes very, very quickly. It happens in seconds. And then when you're done, you just close it and that's it. Then you can replace your cap once you get to whatever tire pressure you're at. It is that simple. Now, these are TPMS compatible as well, so it doesn't apply to me, so I just take this piece off because I don't need it. Now, these are plug and play. These are so easy to install. It is, I think it's a good medium between wanting to air down faster, which your traditional valve stem is pretty slow, versus going all the way to like the monster valves, which you have to drill and tap your wheel. So in this case, we don't have to do that. Plug and play. You take your old valve stem out, you replace it with this one, and then you are airing down very, very quickly. Now let's test these out. Let's see how long it takes to air down my tire with the Apex valve versus the traditional valve stem. Let's also test it with airing up and see like what the difference is. So we're gonna start with 30 PSI on this tire, and we're gonna air down for 10 seconds and see what it gets down to. Then we're gonna do the same thing on a regular tire with a regular valve stem.
3, 2, 1. Get ready. Now.
we are at 16 in just 10 seconds. That's crazy.
That is very fast.
It would be like another, what, like 3, and it would get down to like, that's crazy. It's at 16 just after 10 seconds. So let's try that on the other side. So on the other side, we're gonna use the Curry Easy Deflator, which actually pulls the valve stem. Same thing on this side, starting at 30 and deflating from there for 10 seconds.
On your mark, get set, go. Stop.
$26. So it took 10 seconds to go from 30 PSI to 26 with a regular valve stem, whereas with the Apex valves, it took 10 seconds to go from 30 to 16. That is 10 more like PSI within the same amount of time frame. So it's real quick and easy. And obviously, you know, you only deflate as quickly as your group, but like nobody likes bending down to their tires.
It's
like,
so easy.
I'd rather
You
just stand there and chit chat with like my friends while they have to deflate versus the other way around. So these are just a quick, easy upgrade. Like 120 bucks is not, I don't think it's that expensive for something that you're going to be using almost every time that you go wheeling. Now we're gonna reverse this and we're gonna air up for 10 seconds and see what the difference is between this side and that side.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right, we went from about 26 to 28, so we gained 2 PSI in 10 seconds with your regular valve stem. Let's go do it on the Apex valve.
Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
We went to 19, so it's about, it was like 1 pound faster, so, or not pound, but like 1 PSI faster, so.
It's a small
It's a
difference, but it
slight
definitely
difference.
does air up quicker.
Yes, so it is a little bit faster airing up, but it's a lot faster airing down. Now that we have done that, let's go ahead and start getting the rest of these beadlocks mounted. I got 3 more tires to go through. When installing these valves, you gotta put a little bit of grease on this bottom like seal that you put inside of the wheel, put the valve through, and then you're gonna add a little bit of blue Loctite, put on your first nut, and then you're gonna torque it down to anywhere between 25 and 30 inch-pounds. How many jumps does it take? Get the tire on. Boom!
Like a boss.
Put the balancing beads in the tires before I aired it up. And of course I didn't realize it until I already put the tire on the Jeep. So now we gotta unseat the bead just to put the balancing beads in. Super fun.
Yep. Yep.
All right,
I
think that did it. That was a rookie mistake. Now funnel is easier. Oops. We've had really good luck with these balance beads. We got them on Amazon. I'll put a link in the video description below. One of these buckets will last you years. We've done so many tire changes with them and there's still more than half of it left in here. It's also a lot easier and cheaper than going to get your tires balanced every single time that you need it. We have just had the quietest pops lately. What is up with that? Finally got all 4 beadlocks mounted and they look so good. Now yesterday I took a break from the shop and went down to Crossbar with Ben and we took the race Jeep out and had a little bit of fun. We bombed around the park, did a little bit of rock crawling, and it was honestly my first time driving this thing, not up and down the driveway. You know, I got to actually like get behind the wheel. This thing is a beast. It is so much different than driving like his JK, the LJ, or the Gladiator, and it's so much fun. I can't wait to get it out more and play around with it a little bit. Now, before we move on to the next project, I'm gonna ramble about beadlocks for just a second. You know, I had this Jeep for almost 7 years and didn't have beadlocks because I didn't necessarily need them. I wasn't doing anything crazy. However, there are a lot of benefits to beadlocks that I'm looking forward to finally enjoying in my own rig. You know, you can air down a lot lower with beadlocks, which means that you're gonna have more traction, and it's also just gonna be like a smoother ride. And then you can also maintain them at home without a tire machine, which is really nice. As you just saw, you can do them all in your own garage with minimal equipment. Also, the Raceline specifically, you don't have to worry about messing it up because they have the replaceable like nut inserts. So that's also a really nice feature of the Racelines. Now there are some cons to them as well. You know, most tire shops aren't gonna touch them. They're more expensive and they are a little bit heavier. But overall, I'm glad to have the beadlocks on so we can move on to the next project, which is installing this new cable shift linkage. Now back in the day, we replaced the factory linkage with this metal cloak linkage and we didn't really see much improvement.
So the issue is that this is still a mechanical linkage style. So
Right.
the TJs use a mechanical linkage, and Jeep actually changed it up with the JK by moving over to a cable shift linkage. So what happens is part of it mounts to the body and the other part, like your transfer case, is mounted to the frame. And anytime you get the frame to body misalignment or flex, these linkages just don't like it. So the cable is able to actually kind of change up some of that movement. So whether it's flexing a little bit or if you have a body lift, the cable shift linkages are just better. And this metal cloak design, well, like it does offer adjustment, but it was still a pain in the butt to have this thing shift around, especially when she was like flexed out on the trails.
And he was always having to get under the Jeep too. Something would go wrong, so he'd end up on the ground half the time anyway.
Good design. We tried saving a little bit of money because I think this was like 30 bucks cheaper than a cable kit, but
yep, but now
we have both.
It is the B&N cable linkage. It was about 130 bucks, 150 bucks, and these brackets are nice and thick. It is really a nice quality. You know, in some of the knockoffs, the brackets are just a lot thinner, so I think this is really going to be the best option to fix this, like going from the mechanical linkage to a cable one. Now, we got to get the Jeep on the lift and get her up so we can start installing this. First thing we got to do is support the transmission, then we can drop the cross member and then take out the old linkage. Now, I already did that in the last video when we replaced the torque converter. We didn't put it back in because I knew this cable shifter was on the way, it just had not been delivered yet. We're gonna start with the floor bracket. So it comes with 4 well nuts, so we're gonna push those in, and then Ben is gonna hop up in the Jeep and get this bolted to the floor. And then I'm kinda gonna guide him from underneath. Now we gotta get this lever off and then remove these 2 nuts on the transfer case. Now before we pull it off, we wanna make sure we take note of the direction that it's in. So when we put the new lever on, we don't put it like upside down or anything. Now before we mount the transfer case bracket, we're gonna go ahead and run the cable through the bracket and then add the washer and the nut. Then we're throwing on the jam nut and the clevis or clevis. And then I'm gonna pull the cotter pin and attach the lever. Transfer case here, and then this is gonna go up to the lever, which it was on there like this. We got the transmission bracket mounted and we got the cable routed all the way up to the body mount up here. Now it would probably be easier if you removed your front drive shaft, especially if you're doing this on the ground. It would just give you easy access because this was we had to stuff all of this in here. But now at this point, I'm gonna hop up in the Jeep and we're gonna put it in park, neutral drive. Just kidding, we're not doing that. We're putting it in 4 low, 4 high, 2-wheel drive, and just to make sure that this cable is, the length is correct, because if we need to make any adjustments, we're gonna be moving this jam nut right here, either left or right, or forwards or backwards. And then if we absolutely had to make like fine tuning adjustments, we could do it on the jam nut right here on the clevis.
Yep. The transmission's in neutral, right?
Yes.
Okay. 2, you got your rear drive shaft spinning.
2, 4 high.
Yep, front and rear drive shaft are both spinning. All right, neutral.
Right there.
Yeah, let's see. Yep. All right, 4 low.
This is the hard one.
Yeah, I might have.
That locked in, 4 low.
Locks in pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's see. Yep, front and rear are moving.
Oh my gosh, I feel like the mechanical linkage would set it and then it'd be good for like the first time. And then pretty much any movement to the Jeep after that, it was just done.
That mechanical linkage was a pain in the butt. It never like got perfect.
No, it would pop out all the time, or it wouldn't even shift. It was a pain. This is so nice. So she shifts good. I'm gonna climb on down and we're gonna tighten everything back up. Made some major progress on the Jeep this week in the shop. We got the cable shifter in and the wheels and tires on. All that's left to do is take this thing out for a shakedown run, make sure there's no other problems that I don't know about come up, and that it's ready for some summer wheeling. I'm looking forward to getting the CJ back in the shop next week and continue tinkering on that. As always, guys, I wouldn't be here doing this if it weren't for you. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and as always, my name's Cassie. Keep Jeeping classy.